Prasar, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. The stormy Donald Trump hush money trial comes to its last stage after 6 weeks. Prosecution and defense are making final arguments for the jury's consideration. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar reaffirms country's bid for a permanent UNSC membership, says making all efforts to achieve this goal. Campaigning for 7th and final phase of Lok Sabha elections slated for June 1st reaches its peak. South Africa goes to polls today in what is being billed as the most unpredictable election in the country's 30 years of democratic rule. Well, on to the details now. Former U.S. President Donald Trump's hush money trial reaches its final days after lawyers made their closing arguments in the case. The jury is likely to begin deliberations this week in the first criminal trial of a U.S. president that has gripped the country and much of the world. Trump has pleaded not guilty to 34 charges of falsifying business records to cover up a hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 presidential elections. And DD India's Mitch McCann reports for more.
It's the role of defence lawyers to go first in the closing arguments of a criminal case here in New York, and we heard first from Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's lawyer, in court. He opened by saying that President Trump is innocent. He said he had nothing to do with these hush money payments and that he did not approve them in the first place. Todd Blanche really took aim at Michael Cohen, one of the prosecution witnesses. Of course, Cohen is Donald Trump's former lawyer and fixer. He said Michael Cohen is the MVP of liars and that he is the GLOAT, the greatest liar of all time. He said that the jury should find a quick and easy not guilty verdict when it goes out to deliberate. Meanwhile, the prosecution sought to weave together a clean narrative based on the evidence it had presented in recent weeks to the jury. It said that Donald Trump lingered behind this whole hush money scheme and that Donald Trump got Michael Cohen to do his lying for him. It will now be up to a jury to deliberate and decide the future of Donald Trump, who says this trial is a witch hunt. I'm Mitch McCann in New York, reporting for DD India.
And French President Emmanuel Macron and Germany's Olaf Scholz held a joint Franco-German cabinet meeting in Grancy, a town in Germany, on Tuesday. The leaders said Ukraine should be allowed to hit military sites inside Russia from which missiles were being fired at Ukrainian territory but not other targets. They added as long as Ukraine respected the conditions given by countries that supplied the weapons, it was allowed to defend itself. Earlier, Russia's Putin warned the West and said by proposing to let Ukraine use Western-supplied weapons to strike inside Russia could trigger a global conflict.
We think that we should allow them to neutralize the military sites from which the missiles are fired. The missiles and basically the military sites from which Ukraine is attacked. But we must not allow them to hit other targets in Russia. Obviously, civilian capabilities or other military targets.
Les sites militaires d'où sont tirés?
Well, Czech Prime Minister Peter Fiala hosted Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal and leaders of some European Union allies in Prague on Tuesday. Peter Fiala said a Czech-led initiative has raised 1.6 billion euros for Ukraine and will speed up the ammunition deliveries. He added the first deliveries from the initiative, its sources supplies outside the EU, will happen in June. The money so far had come from 15 EU and NATO members without giving details. The talks in Prague also included Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen, Latvian Prime Minister Evika Salina and Polish President Andrzej Duda.
Czechia continues to develop the ammunition initiative in coordination with international partners. 15 EU and NATO countries already contributed over 1.6 billion euros. Our efforts will soon improve Ukraine's defense. As I promised, the first tens of thousands, 155mm ammunition will be delivered in June. Ukraine can expect the first shipment within the next days.
Well, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is visiting Moldova on Wednesday. Blinken will land in Moldovan capital Chisinau, where he will meet President Maia Sandu and other senior officials. He'll aim to solidify Western support for Ukraine across NATO allies and neighboring countries amid Western alarm over Russian gains. The U.S. top diplomat's trip comes as Ukraine is trying to fend off intensifying Russian attacks in the east. Meanwhile, the United States said it does not encourage or enable the use of U.S.-supplied weapons to strike inside Russia. White House National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby made the remarks at a press briefing on Tuesday.
We don't encourage or enable the use of U.S.-supplied weapons to strike inside Russia. I would note that the Ukrainians have, in the past, defeated imminent air attacks, such as some of the ones that have occurred in the last few days on their own since the war began.
And Israel's military on Tuesday denied striking a tent camp in the southern Gaza city of Rafah. Chief military spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said that despite efforts to minimize civilian casualties during the strike, the fire that broke out was unexpected and unintended. He added that Israel is investigating what may have caused such a large fire to ignite.
Despite our efforts to minimize civilian casualties during the strike, the fire that broke out was unexpected and unintended. This is a devastating incident which we did not expect. We are investigating what caused the fire that resulted in this tragic loss of life. The investigation is ongoing.
Well, the Biden administration on Tuesday said it was closely monitoring the probe into the Israeli airstrikes, but that the recent deaths in Rafah didn't constitute a major operation there that crosses red lines. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby told reporters that there was a real danger that Israel could become further isolated from the international community with the manner in which it is conducting its operations.
There's still hundreds of thousands that are still in Rafah, that are still in danger. And we still have not seen a plan to take care of their safety and security, which is why nothing's changed about our view that we don't want to see a major ground operation in Rafah that puts those people at greater risk.
Meanwhile, several Israeli tanks advanced to the center of Rafah on Tuesday for the first time after 3 weeks of a ground operation in the southern Gazan city. Tanks were spotted near Al-Avda Mosque, a central Rafah landmark. The Israeli military said that its forces continue to operate in the Rafah area. However, they did not comment on reported advances into the city center. Well, Georgia's parliament voted on Tuesday to override a presidential veto of a bill on foreign agents, which has sparked several weeks of protest in the capital, Tbilisi. Tuesday's vote to ignore the objections of Georgian President Salom Zorabichvili sets the stage for the Speaker of Parliament to sign the bill into law in the coming days. The bill would require organizations receiving more than 20% of their funding from overseas to register as agents of foreign influence. Opponents of the bill have for more than a month mounted some of the largest protests Georgia has seen since independence. The US, Britain and European Union have all criticized the bill. Russia also denies any role in backing the bill. And the United States condemned the Georgian parliament's vote to override the presidential veto of the bill requiring groups that receive funds from abroad to register as foreign agents. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller told reporters on Tuesday that the foreign influence bill fails to conform to European norms, and the United States condemns this action.
As it relates to Georgia, earlier today, the Georgian parliament voted to override the Georgian president's veto of an anti-democratic foreign influence bill that fails to conform to European norms, effectively turning the bill into law. The United States condemns this action. In passing this law, the ruling Georgian Dream Party moved the country farther away from the European integration path and ignored the Euro-Atlantic aspirations of the Georgian people, who have taken to the streets for weeks to oppose this law.
And Azerbaijan's border service has taken control of 4 villages in the Gazakh district on the border with Armenia under an agreement. Azerbaijani Deputy Prime Minister Shahin Mustafayev said the size of the territory returned to Azerbaijan under a border delimitation agreement on Friday was 6.5 square kilometers. Armenia had said in April it would return the uninhabited villages to Azerbaijan, which both sides said was a milestone on the road towards a peace deal between Yerevan and Baku, who have clashed for more than 3 decades. The decision by Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan to hand over the 4 villages has triggered protest at home, with demonstrators calling for him to step down over what they cast as a betrayal. And Venezuela has revoked its invitation for the European Union to send election observers for a presidential contest in July. Early this month, the EU temporarily removed individual sanctions on Amoroso, the head of the National Electoral Council, a move which he rejected, saying all sanctions on Venezuela should be lifted. Shortly afterward, the government-controlled legislature approved a measure to ask the CNE to revoke the invitation for EU electoral observers. The Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, the Caribbean Community, a panel of experts from the United Nations, the African Union and the Carter Center, among others, will attend as observers. And now an update on the tragedy in Papua New Guinea. A bridge has collapsed on the main route for getting aid and equipment to the site of a Papua New Guinea landslide that buried at least 2,000 people, as unstable terrain creates challenges in aid efforts. Papua New Guinea Prime Minister James Marape on Wednesday noted that extraordinary weather was causing disasters in the Pacific island nation.
Nature, through a disastrous landslip, submerged or covered the village, and from our initial estimation, over 2,000 people would have perished in this disaster. In this year, we had extraordinary rainfall that has caused flooding in river areas, sea level rise in coastal areas, and landslips in few areas. For instance, we almost had the entire South Simbu, that access passage through the Gumini highway, that was completely cut for almost a month. We made intervention through national government support to the province, to the district, and through the works department, and the road has been opened. But nonetheless, disaster which caused not just economic loss, but lives of our people perished in those disasters.
And India correspondent Laura Westbrook joins us from Hong Kong on this tragedy. Well, Laura, now that a bridge also has collapsed on the main route, can you give us an update of the situation right now?
Yes, this relief and rescue operation has been hit with several complications. According to reports, a bridge south of the landslide area has collapsed. That means that it will take aid organizations longer to get heavy equipment into the area where it's most needed. This comes on top of the main highway to get to the village, has also got about 150 meters of debris covering it as well. So really the conditions there are quite perilous. It's also raining and the ground is very unstable. So that is also adding to complications. And that's why thousands of people have been evacuated from villages that are close to the landslide areas over fears that there could be further landslide, with the area also experiencing rain. And that unstable terrain and flowing water is also complicating the relief efforts as well. They're trying to get heavy equipment into the area, but with that bridge collapse, it means it's going to take longer to get there. So in the meantime, people have been digging with sticks and even their bare hands to really try and reach the people who are buried. The government has said more than 2,000 people were buried when this landslide happened in the early hours of Friday morning. But authorities have said as we enter into the 5th day of this rescue operation, it's now turning into a recovery operation.
All right, it's turning into a recovery operation. Also, Laura, access and communication between Inga in the northeast and the rest of the region has been disrupted. So how are the authorities dealing with it?
Yeah, they're dealing with several complications. They've got that bridge collapsed, as I mentioned, the main road as well. And the other thing that is complicating matters is the aid organizations who need to get there. They say that they have to be extremely cautious because of this unstable terrain. That they need to be very careful about getting into the area as well. The United Nations has said that what is desperately needed is water, food, hygiene supplies, medicine. We have also heard from India, which has pledged $1 million in immediate relief assistance. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed his deepest condolences. He said that they will be looking to help provide some relief immediately. Australia too, which is Papua New Guinea's closest neighbour, has pledged $1.6 million in aid as well. It's going to try and airlift some supplies, and according to reports, that's hopefully going to arrive today. So that really is going to be much needed. But the other thing is Australia will be sending in technical experts and drones to help map out this area, and that is also really going to help aid organizations who are on the ground there as well.
All right, thank you so much, Laura, for that update from there. And now still to come on DD India News Hour. Kim Jong-un visits his country's Academy of Defense Sciences a day after a failed attempt to launch a spy satellite. We'll give you an update as heat wave intensifies in northern India. Rajasthan's Churu hits 50 degrees Celsius.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts, we demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lepakshi Khurana. And moving on, Kim Jong-un visited the country's Academy of Defense Sciences on Tuesday, a day after the North's failed attempt to launch a spy satellite. According to the state news agency, Kim and officials viewed an exhibition hall showcasing models of military equipment at the academy. Meanwhile, South Korea has advised the residents living close to the North Korean border to remain vigilant after media sources claim to have found over 90 balloons carrying various objects, including trash and excrement. More than 90 balloons had been detected by Wednesday, with some landing on the ground while others still in the air. They have urged people to report to the military or police. Early on Sunday, North Korea's Vice Defense Minister issued a statement vowing to exercise strong power for self-defense and warned to send mounds of waste paper and filth to the south in retaliation for its sending dirty things by air to the north. For years, South Korean activists have sent balloons to North Korea carrying leaflets criticizing its leaders. Also, United Arab Emirates President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan attended a welcome ceremony in Seoul on Wednesday, hosted by South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol. Sheikh Mohammed arrived in Seoul on Tuesday for his first state visit to South Korea, where his plane was met by an honorary escort of 4 fighter jets. In the welcome ceremony, the acrobatic team of South Korea's Air Force Black Eagles performed a flight display in central Seoul. Defense industry cooperation, business and investment, and energy initiatives are on the agenda for the summit with President Yoon. Well, parts of Texas continue to be hit with severe weather on Tuesday after a weekend of deadly tornadoes. Strong winds snapped trees in areas around Dallas, and more than 750,000 customers were left without power. The National Weather Service predicted the extreme weather would persist in central Texas through Wednesday morning. Tornadoes over the weekend have already left at least 21 people dead. The Weather Department recorded a tally of more than 1,000 tornadoes, marking 2024 as one of the worst years for severe weather in more than a decade.
As these storm systems in the jet stream move from west to east, contributing one of the other key ingredients, which is a change of wind speed and direction with height, helps to structure the storms and contribute to severity. Then you begin to see environments like we've seen this year, day after day, repeated areas or repeated severe weather events occurring in the same general area with really disastrous consequences.
And India is witnessing extreme heat across the northern parts. Severe heat wave has gripped the northern states of Delhi, Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan for the past few days. Rajasthan's Churu recorded the highest temperature of the season at 50.5 degrees Celsius. Scientists have predicted more intense heat wave than usual this year, largely caused by fewer non-monsoon thunder showers and an active but weakening El Nino weather phenomena. India's meteorological department has said that there will be no relief to residents from the unrelenting heat. A red alert has also been issued for the region. While northern India reels in scorching heat, south and central India is witnessing incessant summer rains. Kerala reported at least 5 deaths in rain-related incidents on Tuesday. Normal life came to a halt with the districts of Ernakulam and Kottayam on red alert. Kalamasari in Erkulam recorded rainfall above the range of 160 in just 4 hours, leading to severe waterlogging, traffic disruptions. Fire and rescue units were also deployed. In Kottayam, 180 mm of rainfall was recorded in 6 hours. More than 28 relief camps have been opened across the state. And at least 28 people, including 2 minors and a pregnant woman, have been killed and several others missing in multiple landslides triggered by rain as an impact of Cyclone Ramal in the northeast Indian state of Mizoram. In another incident, 4 people died when landslides swept away houses in Hiliman area on the southern outskirts of Aizawl. At least 5 buildings have been swept away at different locations in and around Aizawl. Search and rescue operations are underway. Officials said that incessant rains on Monday and Tuesday triggered landslides at several other places in the state. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. In the U.S., a military plane crashed near the Albuquerque Sunport on Tuesday. The crash site was secured by official and emergency vehicles and firefighters. According to officials, the pilot was the sole occupant of the plane and was transported to a nearby hospital for treatment. 7 people were injured and 2 missing in Ohio after an explosion from a reported gas leak on Tuesday. The police urged people to avoid the area around the building. New Yorkers gathered to watch the sunset during a phenomenon known as Manhattan Henge on Tuesday. The annual phenomena occurs when the sun lines up with the Manhattan Street grid in Long Island City in the Queens borough of New York City. Manhattan Henge could be seen from 14th, 23rd, 34th, 42nd and 57th Street and across the East River in the Long Island City section of Queens. And now let's also take a look at other stories making news here. Indian Army launched a joint operation with Manipur Police in Bishnupur district of Manipur on receiving information about suspected movement of armed miscreants. A joint vehicle checkpost was established on the Kwakta Sangthong road. The soldiers intercepted a passenger car and apprehended an individual with M16 rifle, 1 pistol and ammunition. The person along with the recovered arms have been handed over to Manipur Police for further investigation. The National Investigation Agency detained a key conspirator, Jalil Miha, in a case relating to trafficking of Bangladeshi nationals and Rohingyas through the northeastern borders. Investigations have revealed Jalil was one of the main conspirators in the racket. Electronic devices and other incriminating documents were seized from his residence. Chhattisgarh's Dantewada police has arrested 15 Naxalites, including 7 women, as part of the Naxal eradication campaign. The official said that the security forces have arrested 15 Naxalites near Gulmanar village area. Explosives, detonators, Naxalite uniforms and other items have also been recovered from the arrested Naxalites. And still to come on DD India News Hour. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar reaffirms that India aims to become the permanent UNSC member as soon as possible. India is all set to vote for the 7th and the final phase of general elections on the 1st of June. India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar paid tribute to former PM Chaudhry Charan Singh on his death anniversary at Kisan Ghat in New Delhi today.
Wherever news breaks, whatever it takes.
Connecting corners, cutting across continents.
Stories that matter from across the globe.
Accurate, authentic journalism that serves you right. From politics to glamour, from sports to world affairs, with a fusion of aesthetics and substance. Introducing news in a new avatar. Experience the world through a new lens. Stay tuned to DD India for an exciting journey beyond borders.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
Welcome to Jaipur.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. Lepakshi Kuran, and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar reaffirms country's bid for a permanent UNSC membership, says making all efforts to achieve this goal. Campaigning for 7th and final phase of Lok Sabha elections slated for June 1st reaches its peak. South Africa goes to polls today in what is being billed as the most unpredictable election in the country's 30 years of democratic rule. Moving on, while interacting with intellectuals in Shimla, the North Indian state of Himachal Pradesh, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar reaffirmed that India is exerting pressure to become the permanent UNSC member. He said that our aim is to achieve it as soon as possible. He also recalled when India got the opportunity to become UNSC permanent member but forgone the chance.
UN Security Council का सवाल जो है, हमारी कोशिश तो है कि जितनी जल्दी हमें स्थायी सदस्यता मिल जाए, हम तो वो जरूर चाहेंगे, पर ये लक्ष्य जो है इतनी आसानी से प्राप्त नहीं होगा क्योंकि आज भी जो परमानेंट मेंबर्स जो हैं उनकी बहुत चलती है, यूएन में भी चलती है, यूएन के बाहर भी चलती है। वो किसी भी, आज गाजा की बात हो, यूक्रेन की बात हो, वो जो है अपने बीच में जो आपस की डीलिंग जो करते हैं, दुनिया को जो प्रभावित जो करते हैं, इसीलिए वो नहीं चाहेंगे कि इसमें 5 जो है 6 या 7 या 8 बन जाए। तो जो अभी जो हम कहते हैं जो टेबल पे बैठे, वो तो चाहेंगे कि वो कुर्सियां उतनी रहें जितनी अभी। तो हमें जो आना है, हमें पूरे मैं कहूँगा कि समाज को जागरूक करके, दबाव डाल के उनको मनवाना है, वो तभी जब वो मानेंगे तभी हमें वो लक्ष्य प्राप्त होगा। अब बीच में ऐसे भी मौके थे करीब 50 साल पहले कि हमें कुछ चांस था, उस समय हम लोगों ने नहीं लिया। उस समय की सरकार थी, उनको लगा कि ये हमारे लिए उस समय ऐसी प्रायोरिटी नहीं थी। पर आज जो है, आज मुझे लगता है कि दिशा, आज का माहौल जो है हमारे लिए अनुकूल है।
And now let's get you the latest on the world's largest election in India. Well, India is all set to vote for the 7th and the final phase of general elections. 57 constituencies across 8 states and union territories will vote on the 1st of June. Fate of 904 candidates will be decided in this phase. 13 seats each in Uttar Pradesh and Punjab, 9 in West Bengal, 8 in Bihar, 6 in Odisha, 4 in Himachal Pradesh, 3 in Jharkhand and 1 seat in the union territory of Chandigarh will go to the polls in the 7th phase. Meanwhile, campaigning for the final phase of Lok Sabha elections has reached to its peak with just 3 days left for polling. Senior BJP leader and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is to address rallies in West Bengal and Odisha. Another BJP leader and Home Minister Amit Shah will hold rallies in Uttar Pradesh. BJP President JP Nadda will be campaigning in eastern Indian states of Jharkhand and West Bengal. Top leaders of opposition parties are also making a last-ditch attempt to woo the voters in their favour. Congress Party's National President Mallikarjun Kharge will hold rallies in the eastern Indian state of Odisha. Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi will be on a campaign trail in the northern Indian state of Himachal Pradesh. Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav will be holding public rally in Robertsganj in Uttar Pradesh. Well, one of India's battleground states, Bihar, was the talk of the town in recent times due to its changing political alliances. It accounts for 40 lower house seats, the fourth highest in India. Up next is a report which tells you about the state's political and historical significance as it goes to polls in the last phase of India's general election on the 1st of June. Take a look.
The eastern state of Bihar has made immense contribution to the country's history. The first pan-Indian kingdom, the Mauryan Empire, was established here, with its seat at Pataliputra, a region adjacent to the state capital, Patna. The national emblem of India was adapted from the Sarnath line capital of the Mauryan Emperor Ashoka. Two ancient centers of learning, Nalanda and Vikramshila, are also located in the state. During the freedom movement, Mahatma Gandhi launched his first civil resistance movement called Satyagraha in support of indigo farmers in Bihar's Champaran in the year 1917. Post-independence, Bihar emerged as a politically significant state, spread over an area of about 98,000 square kilometers. Bihar has 40 seats in the lower house of parliament, the fourth highest in the country. Bihar has 76.4 million registered voters, out of which 40 million are men, nearly 36.4 million are women, while over 2,200 belong to the third gender. Coming to the state's current political scenario, it is governed by the Janata Dal United with the support of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Other prominent parties are Rashtriya Janata Dal, the Indian National Congress and the Lok Janshakti Party. Looking at the 2019 general election results in Bihar, of the total 40 seats, BJP won on 17, while the JDU bagged 16 and the LJP got 6 seats, while the Congress bagged just 1. Amid the polls, all the eyes are keenly observing the volatile dynamics of coalitions in the state, which has always been springing up surprises at the last moment. Election Desk, DD India.
And for more on elections, we have Devendu from Kolkata and West Bengal and Akshay from Shimla in Himachal Pradesh joining us. Well, good morning to both of you. Devendu, my first question to you. 9 crucial seats go to polls in the 7th phase there. How significant is this phase and how important this is for BJP, considering PM is also holding many rallies there?
Well, good morning, Lipakshi. That's right. 9 important seats from West Bengal are going to polls in the last phase of elections here in, of course, in India. So, the importance of these 9 seats, of course, of the Kolkata seats, which is the metropolitan seats of West Bengal, is going to polls this time around. But interestingly, Lipakshi, none of the 9 seats that are going to polls are with the BJP currently. These 9 seats which are going to polls are considered to be the bastion of the Trinamool Congress. The important seat of both Bashirhat, where the Sandesh Khali incident that rocked, that made headlines, just a couple of months back, is also going to polls in this particular phase of elections. Apart from this, the Trinamool Congress's second in command, Abhishek Banerjee's constituency of Diamond Harbour, is also going to polls. And today, interestingly, Prime Minister is holding a rally there in Kapdeep, which is part of the Diamond Harbour constituency. The 2 metropolitan seats of North and South Kolkata, and the third, which is the Jadavpur, where the Prime Minister held a rally yesterday, is also going to polls in this phase. So, the BJP is perhaps trying to make some dent into the Trinamool Congress's vote share in these crucial 9 seats which are going to polls on the 1st of June. The Prime Minister held 3 rallies here in Kolkata yesterday, including a roadshow in the Damdam Lok Sabha from Shyambajar to the ancestral home of Swami Vivekananda at Simla Street in Kolkata. And today he's holding a rally in the Diamond Harbour constituency where Abhishek Banerjee is seeking a second term for his elections here from that particular seat. So you can understand the importance of this for the BJP as well as the Trinamool Congress, where the TMC is trying to save its bastion of 9 seats and expecting that all the 9 will be voting in favor of the Trinamool Congress like that of in 2014 and that of 2019. But the BJP is, by putting in Prime Minister Narendra Modi for 2 days in West Bengal and campaigning for 4 Lok Sabhas in just 2 days, the BJP is trying, if not to gain the maximum number of seats, but making a dent in the bastion here. But of course, it will be the voters and the people that will be the deciding factor on the 1st of June, and we will come to know about it on the 4th of June when the results will be out.
Right. Voters will be the deciding factor. My second question to you, Akshay. Out of the 4 constituencies in Himachal Pradesh, Shimla, which has been a key constituency, is a BJP stronghold since 2009, which is going to vote on the 1st of June. This constituency is also a SC reserved category constituency and has a literacy rate of 72.84%. How is the political landscape shaping there?
Well, Lipakshi, we have to also keep in mind that it's not just the parliamentary elections that are taking place on 1st of June. The fate of Sukhu government, that is the Congress-led state government, is also at stake because of 6 by-elections on 6 legislative assembly seats that is taking place on 1st of June. Now, these are 2 different elections, but both are equally important. Perhaps the 6 by-elections are more keenly watched by the state government as well as the political parties, because a state like Himachal, a state that is quite important as far as both the parties are concerned, is at stake because of these 6 legislative assembly elections. Now, out of 68 seats, Congress currently has 34 seats because of 6 defections in a way that took place. All of the 6 candidates that had voted, that were the Congress MLAs that had voted against the Congress party for upper house election, for Rajya Sabha elections, were disqualified by the speaker. Then they joined the BJP, and all 6 of them are contesting this time around the by-elections on a BJP ticket. So it's quite interesting. If the BJP is able to get all 6 of them, then it can topple the Sukhu government, the state government of the state of Himachal Pradesh. And if the Congress manages to get even 1 seat, then it can save the government, at least for now. However, when we move to the parliamentary elections, both in 2014 and 2019, it was the BJP that had swept the state clean, winning all 4 out of 4 constituencies. In 2009 as well, the BJP had won 3 constituencies. Congress only won 1, despite forming the government in 2009 at the center. So BJP has been strong as far as the national elections are concerned, but when it comes to the state elections, it has been quite difficult for political experts as well to gauge the mood of the people of Himachal. They have been voting very specifically on issues, on candidates, and that is why almost on every alternate elections, the state government has been changing from BJP to Congress, and then to BJP back again, and then to Congress. So this has been quite volatile state in terms of elections, and 1st of June perhaps means the most for the state of Himachal, because not only the 4 parliamentary constituencies, but also the state government, which is at stake as far as the result of this election is concerned.
All right. Debendu, I also wanted to ask you that Kolkata being a metropolitan city, what is the political scenario there? What are the views of the people?
Well, Lipakshi, of course, Kolkata is, of course, a metropolitan city. There are people from all walks of life that stays and works here. We have been going around the city for quite some time now, and the most important issue that perhaps what we picked up from the ground is, of course, employment and industrialization. Remember, Kolkata and West Bengal have not seen much of employment generation for a very, very long time. And there have been literally no industries that have come to Bengal for the last over 1.5 decades. So what the youngsters and the people are looking forward to from the government or the elected their elected representative is, of course, creation of job as well as bringing in more industries into the city. Often Kolkata is known as a city that is laid back, that is more of a sleepy, slow metropolitan city. But people of the youngsters want to come out of that image of Kolkata and wants to compete with that of the metropolitan cities of like of Delhi as well as Bombay. So, the people, the youngsters are aspirational, but due to lack of jobs here, people are having to move out of the city of Kolkata and the different parts of the country, and some even abroad. So people of Bengal mostly think that the reverse that the brain drain that is happening from Kolkata and from West Bengal should be stopped by bringing in more companies, by bringing in industries and creating jobs. So these are some of the key issues that are, of course, being talked about by the young generation, by the youngsters. That will, of course, give their mandate on the 1st of June. And apart from that, Lipakshi, also the Trinamool Congress governments have been in power for almost a decade now. In fact, more than a decade now. So the anti-incumbency of the Trinamool Congress is something that the people are also talking about.
All right.
So of course, on the 1st of June, it is the people that will give their mandate. Yes, back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Devyendu and Akshay, for joining us and giving us that update from there. And moving on, former Union Minister and Congress leader Manishankar Ayyar's remarks on China have triggered a new controversy. Speaking at the Foreign Correspondents Club of South Asia, Ayyar referred to the 1962 Indo-China War as an alleged Chinese invasion. However, later he apologized for using the word allegedly mistakenly when a member of the audience questioned his remarks.
October 1962. The Chinese allegedly invaded India.
And India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar paid tributes to former Prime Minister Chaudhry Charan Singh on his death anniversary at Kisan Ghat in New Delhi today. Grandson of Chaudhry Charan Singh and RLD Chief Jayant Chaudhary was also present with the Vice President on the occasion. This year, Chaudhry Charan Singh was posthumously awarded India's highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna. And still to come on DD India News Hour. South Africa goes to the polls today. Proud moment for India as Indian Women Army Major to receive UN Award for Gender Advocacy.
As India decides in the world's largest election,
we help you feel the pulse of the nation.
I am Sakal Bhatt.
I am Shubhendu Ghosh.
This election season, join us on a journey of India.
We are in Assam. This is the tea city of India.
From down south, Tamil Nadu.
Discover the colors of democracy.
Gateway to northeast of India.
Coastal state of Kerala. Watch Poll Pulse on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, South Africans are voting today in what is being billed as the most unpredictable election in the country's 30 years of democratic rule. The governing African National Congress is projected to lose its parliament majority for the first time, possibly paving the way for the country's first coalition government. DD India's Isaac Lucando reports for more from Johannesburg.
27 million voters are taking part in the 7th national and provincial elections in South Africa since 1994. This is happening across 9 provinces and at more than 23,000 polling stations. South Africans are voting for a National Assembly, which will determine who will be president for the next 5 years. There is widespread dissatisfaction among the country's 62 million people. This poses a significant challenge to the ruling African National Congress, or ANC, in power for 3 decades since the time of Nelson Mandela. In recent weeks, opposition parties such as the Democratic Alliance, the Economic Freedom Fighters and MK have increased pressure on the ANC through campaigns and rallies, calling out issues of corruption and lack of jobs. Around 5,000 observers from 160 local and foreign organizations are monitoring this election. There have already been 2 days of special voting in which approximately 1.6 million voters were allowed to vote early. Final results are anticipated to be announced on the 2nd of June. Isaac Lukando in Johannesburg, reporting for DD India.
While you're watching DD India News Hour, time now for some sports news. Indian mountaineer Satyadeep Gupta has scripted history by becoming the first person to scale Mount Everest and Mount Lhotse twice in one season and the first Indian to traverse the two peaks in 11 hours and 15 minutes. Gupta scaled the 8,516-meter high Mount Lhotse on Monday at noon and the 8,849-meter high Mount Everest at 12:45 a.m. midnight, according to Pioneer Adventure Expedition, which organized the expedition. Well, Indian Army's Major Radhika Sen has been selected to receive a UN award recognizing her advocacy for women and girls while serving as a peacekeeper. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres will present Radhika Sen with the 2023 Military Gender Advocate of the Year award on the occasion of the International Day of UN Peacekeepers. The award recognizes the efforts of a military peacekeeper in promoting the principles of the 2000 Security Council resolution that calls for protecting women and girls from conflict-related sexual violence and sets gender-related responsibilities for the UN. Sen is the second Indian peacekeeper to receive the honor after Major Suman Gavani, who served with the UN mission in South Sudan and received the award in 2019. Well, India proudly stands as the leading contributor to UN peacekeeping, showcasing India's unwavering commitment to global peace and security. India's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ruchira Kamboj, in a message lauded Major Radhika Sen of the Indian Army, who served as a UN peacekeeper.
This year, we are particularly honored to receive the UN Gender Military Advocate Award for 2024, a powerful testament to India's steadfast dedication to gender equality and the invaluable role of women in peacekeeping. We hence proudly celebrate Major Radhika Sen, whose exemplary service and leadership have earned her this distinguished award. Congratulations, Radhika.
And today, 29th of May, marks the 76th anniversary of UN peacekeeping, a day dedicated to honoring United Nations' remarkable uniformed and civilian personnel. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar extended wishes on the day, saying that he saluted the valor of the brave men and women who dedicate themselves to maintaining peace and security in regions affected by conflict. In a post on X, Dr. Jaishankar also remembered those who have made the supreme sacrifice in carrying out the cause of UN peacekeeping. Moreover, on the occasion of International Day of United Nations Peacekeepers, Indian Army salutes the professionalism, dedication and courage of all peacekeepers serving in US peacekeeping missions and also pay tributes to those who have laid down their lives for the cause of peace. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.